Bonjour, French 1 students. Here is your teaching video for lesson 4A on page 56 through 59 of your textbook. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 56. Remember, I would like you to follow along in your textbook. Leçon 4. Video scène. De jour en jour. À l'heure. 1. Un rendezvous. Jean-Paul and Stephanie are sitting in a cafe. Stephanie seems to be in a hurry to leave. Again, please follow along as I read. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 3 heures. 3 heures? Oui, 3 heures. Oh là là! J'ai un rendez-vous avec David dans 20 minutes. Au revoir, Jean-Paul. Au revoir, Stephanie. À bientôt. So, working through this translation, un rendezvous means a date. Stephanie starts by asking, what time is it? And Jean-Paul responds, it is 3 o'clock. Stephanie asks, 3 o'clock? And Jean-Paul says, yes, 3 o'clock. Stephanie says, oh my, I have a date with David in 20 minutes. Goodbye, Jean-Paul. And Jean-Paul says, goodbye, Stephanie. See you soon. So this lesson is about telling time. So how to talk about time, we see the question about what time is it is quelle heure est-il? And then when we're answering that question, our answers are always going to start with il est, okay? And then we see these times here. Now, in case you're not particularly good at reading clocks, right? This is 1 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock. This is noon, and this is midnight. Okay. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Il est. Il est. Il est 1 heure. Il est 2 heures. Il est 3 heures. Il est 4 heures. Il est 5 heures. Il est 6 heures. Il est 7 heures. Il est 8 heures. Il est 9 heures. Il est 10 heures. Il est 11 heures. Il est midi. Il est minuit. So notice our format for times that are on the hour is il est, our number, and then the word And I'm going to put the S in parentheses because do notice that 1 o'clock doesn't have an S on it. The rest of them do have S's, but 1 o'clock does not. So most of the time will have an S on it, with the exception being 1 o'clock. So although o'clock may be left out in English, the expression heure must be used in French when giving the time. That's because you're literally saying, when you say this, to translate it, you're saying it is 10 hours. So if you left the word hours off, you would just be saying it is 10. It is 10 what? Okay? And so you have to have that word heure in French. To distinguish between AM and PM, the French use the following expressions. So we have du matin, which means in the morning, de l'après-midi, in the afternoon, and du soir, which means in the evening. S'il vous plaît, répétez du matin, du matin. Il est 10 heures du matin, de l'après-midi, de l'après-midi. Il est 2 heures de l'après-midi, du soir, du soir. Il est 8 heures du soir. Right, so translating those sentences we said, this first one is saying, okay, that it is 10 in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. The middle one says it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the bottom one says it is 8 o'clock in the evening. Look at the note de prononciation. In telling time, the number and the word heure are linked together. Remember, in French, the letter H is always silent. So these are not things that you write. These are things that your book puts in here to help you remember how to say them. S'il vous plaît, répétez 1 heure, 2 heures, 3 heures, 4 heures, 5 heures, 6 heures, 7 heures, 8 heures, 9 heures, 10 heures, 11 heures. So let's practice this with exercise 2. Quelle heure est-il? Ask your classmates what time it is. So look at our example prompt. Okay, we see the clock and it is 4 o'clock on this clock. So I'm actually going to ask you the question every time, quelle heure est-il? And you're going to give the answer. In this case, right, the answer is il est 4 heures. What part of the answer will be in every answer? Hopefully you said il est, right? All of our answers are going to start il est. Now, to make sure you can read these clocks okay, this one is 3 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock. This is 1 o'clock. This is 9 o'clock. This is 11 o'clock. This is noon because it's got the little sun here. And this is midnight because it has the little moon here. Okay? So this is a speaking one that I want you to be practicing the speaking. So I'm going to pause and give you time to say it, and then you're going to hear me tell you what the correct answer is. Hopefully what you say matches what I say. So, numéro 1. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 3 heures. 2. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 6 heures. Numéro 3. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 1 heure. Numéro 4. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 9 heures. 5. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 11 heures. Numéro 6. Quelle heure est-il? Il est midi. Numéro 7. Quelle heure est-il? Il est minuit. Alright, we have like a second little dialogue in this lesson. So, à quelle heure est le film? Stephanie and David have decided to go to a movie. Again, please follow along as I read. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 3h30. Et à quelle heure est le film? À 4h15. Ça va, nous avons le temps. So, translating this, the question of the title here is asking, at what time is the movie? Stephanie starts by asking, what time is it? David answers, it is 3:30, or it is 3:30. Stephanie asks, and at what time is the movie? David answers, at 4:15, or at 4:15. And Stephanie says, that's okay, we have time. So you'll see in this next box is how to talk about the time when it's not on the hour. So the first one there, we see how to ask at what time something is scheduled. S'il vous plaît, répétez à quelle heure est, à quelle heure est, à quelle heure est, à quelle heure est le concert? Le concert est à 8h. So again, we're seeing here how to ask at what time something is, and then how to give that answer. Okay. How to say you have an appointment or a date. S'il vous plaît, répétez j'ai un rendez-vous à. J'ai un rendez-vous à. J'ai un rendez-vous à. J'ai un rendez-vous à 2h. Right? So translating the kind of ones that we've read so far, right? This one up here is asking at what time is the concert. The concert is at 8 o'clock. And down here we have I have a date or an appointment at 2 o'clock. So our next section here is how to indicate like the specific amount of minutes. So if you wanted to say it was 10:22 or 5:03, okay? So you'll see here, we still start with il a. We still have our number and then our but now we have a second number, right? And this is the number of minutes. So 6:25 is il est 6h25. 7:35, il est 7h35. And 2:52, il est 2h52. So obviously for telling time, it's going to be fairly important that you remember your numbers and that you're able to say your numbers. S'il vous plaît, répétez, il est 10h10. Il est 5h25. Sorry, I read that one wrong. Let me try that one again. S'il vous plaît, répétez, il est 6h25. Il est 7h35. Il est 2h52. So that's how you indicate the specific number of minutes, right? That format is il. Oops, sorry about that. Il est, the number, and again, I'm going to put the S in parentheses because we still won't use an S when it's 1 o'clock. And then the number, and this time this number is the number of minutes. Now we also see here how to say the half and quarter hours. So a car is quarter after. Right? So that would be like 15. A demi is half after. So that would be like 30. And moi le quart is quarter 2. So it would be like 45. So you'll see I accidentally cut off here on the video picture, but in your textbook you see these times underneath it. S'il vous plaît, répétez un quart, et demi, moins le quart, moins le quart. So when it is 1:15, you would say, s'il vous plaît, répétez, il est 1h15. When it is 2:30, you would say, il est 2h30. And when it is 2:45, you would say, il est 3h moins le quart. Now notice with the 3h moins le quart, you're saying it's quarter to the next hour. So to kind of put some notes, if you'd like to take notes about telling time. So when we're telling time on the hour, our format is il est, our number, and most times is going to have an S on it, except for 1 o'clock. So always has an S, except at 1 o'clock. Okay, and any times during 1 o'clock as well. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez, il est Now, to kind of specify morning, afternoon, or evening, right? Because 1 o'clock could be 1 in the afternoon or it could be 1 o'clock in the morning. So to kind of specify that, in French, morning is du matin. So that's morning. So you would put that kind of after you've said your whole time. Okay. In the afternoon is de l'après midi. So this is in the afternoon. And then in the evening is du soir. S'il vous plaît, répétez du matin, de l'après-midi, du soir. So if I wanted to say it is 10 in the morning, I would say il est 10h du matin. If I wanted to say it's 10 at night, I would say il est 10h du soir. So again, I can add these to any of my time expressions. To be more specific about whether it's in the morning, afternoon, or evening. To tell the time when we have a specific number of minutes, our format is il est our number and then our number. So up here, remember this number is the number for the hour. This first number still is the number for the hour. And again, I put that S in parentheses. Remember, most times it'll have an S on it, except 1 o'clock. And this number is the number for the minutes. So again, if it was 10 or 3:26 in the afternoon, then it would be il est 3h26 de l'après-midi. Now, on the quarter hour, there's always going to be two ways that you can say these times. You can say il est our number a car. So using that and quarter part. Okay. Again, this number here is the number for the hour. However, because it's, right, quarter hour means it's 15, you also can still tell the time with the specific number of minutes. So you also could write these times as il est my number 15. And again, this is still the number for the hour. So if it was 2:15, two different ways I could say that. I can say il est 2h15, or I can say il est 2h15. Same thing on the half hour, right? There are going to be two ways to say this. I can use the word for half, and I can use the word for 30. So using the kind of word for half, it's going to be il est number a demi. Now, if you like the Percy Jackson movies, you might remember that Percy Jackson was a demigod. What did demi mean? Demi meant he was half. Demi means half. So you're saying it's this number hour and half. The other option is still to use that specific number of minutes. So I also can say il est number and then use 30. Again, both of these numbers here, okay, these are the number for the hour. So if it is 9:30 in the morning, I could say it two ways. One way is il est 9h30 du matin. My other option is to say il est 9h30 du matin. Okay, so either way works. On the 3/4 hour, also two ways, so still two ways. Okay, to say it's 1:45, or to say it's hour number and 45. So with the 1:45, it's going to be il est our number for the hour plus 1 this time. Moins le quart. The reason it's the number plus 1 is because you're saying it's 1/4 the next hour. So what I mean by this is if, for example, it's 4:45, I need to say that it's 4:45. So I have to say il est 5h moins le quart. My other option is still to use the specific number of minutes. Then it's still just going to be the correct 45. Okay, so again, 4:45 It's the two ways to say 4:45 would be il est 5h moins le quart, or il est 4h45. Either way is fine. It's the same time. It's two ways of saying it. So let's take a look at exercise 3, l'heure. Give the times according to the clocks. So notice, again, we have 1:15 here. We have 2:30. We have 3:45. We have 4:15. We have 6:30. And we have 10:45. Right? So your textbook is just giving it with the and quarter. Remember, the other option for this would be il est 1h15. So again, this is going to be a speaking one. What I'd like you to do is say the time the two different ways, right? So both ways, okay, that maybe you just wrote down in some notes. So for number 1, again, go ahead and say your times. And if you need to pause and give yourself a little bit more time to say it than I give you, that's fine. Il est 2h30. Il est 2h30. Numéro 2. Il est 4h moins le quart. Il est 3h45. Numéro 3. Il est 4h15. Il est 4h15. Numéro 4. Il est 6h30. Il est 6h30. Numéro 5. Il est 11h moins le quart. Il est 10h45. Exercice 4. À quelle heure? Ask your classmates at what time certain activities are scheduled. They will answer according to the information below. So again, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask you to say the answer. So look at our example. We have the time of 8:50 and that it's a movie. So à quelle heure est le film? Le film est à 8h50. The only part that's going to stay the same is the A, right? The le film, right? That part is going to be whatever they give you in the prompt, okay? And then the time, right, is going to go here. S'il vous plaît, répétez A. A. All right, numéro 1. À quelle heure est le concert? Le concert est à 7h15. Le concert est à 7h15. I don't care which way you said it. 2. À quelle heure est le match de football? Le match de football est à 2h30. Le match de football est à 2h30. 3. À quelle heure est le match de tennis? Le match de tennis est à 4h moins le quart. Le match de tennis est à 3h45. 4. À quelle heure est le récital? Le récital est à 5h10. 5. À quelle heure est le dîner? Le dîner est à 8h moins le quart. Le dîner est à 7h45. All right, your homework is on page 59, exercise 2, and page 59, exercise 3. Oops, I don't think it's 59. Sorry, this should be 58. Or 57, actually, sorry. Wrong again, 57. There we go. 57, exercise 2, and page 59, exercise 3. We did both of these out loud. In exercise 2, again, our times, right, are 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, noon, and midnight. So I want you to write out both the question and the answer. By the time you write out quelle heure est-il 7 times, hopefully you're able to spell it correctly. Remember, all your answers are going to start with il est. So for example, number 1 is going to be, you'll write on your paper, quelle heure est-il. And then you're going to write the time, so il est. Like you to write out the words for the numbers so that you get some practice with spelling them. Il est 3 heures. And remember, heure is going to have an S on it. The only time it won't have its S is at 1 o'clock. So you're going to write out the question and the answer like this for the 7 of them. Remember, I do expect you to type homework assignments out of your textbook using your international keyboard. Exercise 3, l'heure, give the times according to the clocks. Again, remember when we did this one out loud, I asked you to give the 2 different ways that you could tell those times. Okay, remember these 2 different times that are here. So, or different ways. So for each of these, I want you to write out the time 2 different ways. So for the example, il est 1 heure et quart, that's part of it, but I'd also want you to write il est 1 heure 15. So remember, this is 2:30, this is 3:45, this is 4:15, this is 6:30, and this is 10:45. So, for example, number 5, one way is to say it's 10:45. So, il est 10 heures 45. Remember, our other way is to say it's 10:45. So remember, when we do that one, we have to do il est, and we have to go to the hour that's shown on the clock and add 1. So it's 11 heures moins le quart. So for each of these, you'll write the time twice, those 2 different ways that say the same time. Au revoir, à demain.